The daughters of Genghis Khan, the silent power that held the world. History always remembers the names of conquerors, but some stories exist that, despite their full power, are buried in the layers of silence. This is one of those stories. This is the story of Genghis Khan, the man who trampled half the world under his feet, whose horses' hooves made entire kingdoms quake, whose very name drained the color from kings' faces. Yet, his true power was not his army. It was his daughters. Daughters who were not mere princesses, but the silent architects of an empire. They did not appear on the battlefield, nor were they prominently written in the pages of history, yet the empire endured because of them. Genghis Khan was not just a warrior, he was a mind capable of seeing tomorrow, today. He knew that empires were not run by swords alone, but by wisdom, alliances, and strategy. So he made a decision that the world may never fully understand. He did not confine his daughters to palaces. He made them the pillars of his empire. He arranged their marriages to the chieftains of distant tribes, but these were not merely weddings. They were silent conquests. Whenever a new alliance formed, the next phase was inevitable: war. And in war, often the very men he married his daughters to were killed. Then, the throne became vacant, and upon it sat a daughter of Genghis Khan. This was no coincidence. This was a plan, a strategy the world may never fully grasp. Genghis Khan's daughters were not one, but many. Each in her own right was a ruler. Like Chechiken, she too went to a tribe, and there she not only took power, but strengthened the tribe's loyalty to the Mongol Empire. Similarly, every daughter was a living strategy. Yet among them, one name shone in the shadows of history: Alakhai Bekhi. One night, inside the tent, a fire crackled. Outside, the cold wind swept the sands. Before the flames sat Genghis Khan's daughters, silent yet powerful. Genghis Khan spoke slowly. "The world only sees us as warriors, but the true war is not won with swords." He paused, his eyes on his daughters. "You are my greatest power." One daughter asked softly, "Us? We are just women." He smiled, but that smile carried wisdom. "That is why, because the enemy will see you as weak, and that will be their greatest mistake." Then his voice hardened. "Your marriages will not be for love. They will be for the empire." These words did not fade into the air. They sank into hearts. At that moment, Alakhai Bekhi lowered her gaze, but a question rose in her mind. "And if the heart changes?" Genghis Khan looked at her with sharp, penetrating eyes. "Then learn to command the heart, because empires do not run on hearts alone." These words became her destiny. Days later, Alakhai Bekhi was married. The tent celebrated, drums played, the tribe rejoiced. Yet inside her, a silent storm raged. Her husband, a brave chieftain, Timurgu. At first, it was just an alliance, but over time, it began to change. At night, when the talks of war were over, they would sit by the fire, silent, yet close. "Imagine if we were not enemies," Timurgu said one night. Alakhai Bekhi replied with a faint smile. "Then perhaps we might never have met at all." Love was quietly taking its place.
Yet behind every joy, a shadow lurked. And here it was. In the darkness of night, behind the tents, a few chieftains gathered. This girl is weakening us. Every decision is now in her hands, and Timurgu, he is no longer ours. Silence. Then a voice spoke. If Timurgu dies, she will break on her own. These words became the decision. The night was still. The wind had stopped. A few shadows entered the tent, and within moments, it was over. When Alakhai Bekhi emerged, the ground was soaked in blood, and in its midst, Timurgu. Her world shattered, yet no tears fell. She was immediately captured, her hands bound, and thrown into prison. "Your game ends now," a chieftain said mockingly. Yet she remained silent, for she knew the game had only begun. In prison, she summoned a loyal servant. "Go to my father. Tell him my daughter is alive, but not for long." The messenger slipped into the night. Days later, dust rose on the horizon, and with it, the armies of Genghis Khan. This was no attack, it was a storm. Horses ran, swords flashed, and the tribe was broken in hours. The prison doors shattered, and Alakhai Bekhi was free. She stepped outside, and before her, the tribe bowed. "From this day," she said, calm yet firm, "this land is mine." No one spoke. No one stood. All bowed. Time passed, and her reign began. The deserts, the trade routes, all were under her control. She ended rebellions, ensured peace, protected commerce. People said, she is Genghis Khan's daughter. But time revealed, she is an empire herself.
This story is not just about a woman. It is the story of a father's wisdom, a daughter's courage, a love lost in war, and a power forged from pain. History may remember names, but sometimes true power hides behind those names.